Hello again, YouTube. It's Skylar. Welcome back to my face. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the recent Supreme Court ruling on trans people in the military. Alright, before we get into it, please remember to hit the like and subscribe button down below. It actually really does help my channel and get my videos out to more people. So if you could do that, that would be fantastic. Alright, let's get into it. So a little over 8 years ago, I made a video titled, Trans Military Ban is Wrong, Here's Why. And I did not think that I was going to need to make another video on this, but here we are. So back in January, the administration of the person whose name I will not say, signed an executive order barring trans people once again from the military. It's a recurring theme. I don't know why, but here we are. That trans people are and active duty service members are not equipped somehow to handle being active duty service members and military, despite already being in the military and qualifying for pretty much everything that they test for to allow somebody to even be in the military in the first place. So, once again, the courts blocked this order, and it went all the way up to the Supreme Court, which, unfortunately, in a 6-3 ruling, which the Supreme Court is mostly made up of people who were picked by this administration, can't see any corruption there, decided that this ban is withstanding and will go into effect. So this will affect basically over 15,000 active duty service members in the military of all ranks. Regardless of position and regardless of experience, no matter how vital their role is in what their job is in doing and keeping our country safe, they supposedly now will have to leave the military and be unemployed because of this executive order. Which I think it goes without saying that this is just flat out wrong. Just like the recent UK Supreme Court ruling is wrong. But there's a deeper aspect to this that I wanted to talk about. Because in America, people tend to have reverence for the military and people in the military who serve. And there's a common phrase that's used that's support our troops, which is, supposed to be a hurrah to everybody that gives their service to the military and essentially risks their own personal safety in pursuit of defending our country against adversaries and threats. So, yes, the military is held with high reverence in this country. This is completely against that philosophy of support our troops, because what you're saying is these groups of people are they're not allowed to be in the military anymore, despite them already being in the military, and people of their kind, they're not allowed to join the military. This is just such tribalistic mindset that is just pure transphobia. If the issue that people are concerned of is national security and they believe in supporting our troops, regardless of how they feel on social issues, they would be against this either way, because you're going to just withdraw 15,000 people and just like that, because they have a different walk of life than other people. Trans people are just normal people. Trans rights are human rights because we all have the right to transition. Being trans, again, is not something that you do. It's something that you just are. and it's an inherent part of the human condition. It's not something that you can change, and nobody has any control over it. It's something that you just exist as. You were born into. You are always trans no matter what. So once again, when we see these things come down from administrations and different government agencies that actively discriminate against a certain class of people, there's really very little to talk about outside of the fact that it's just transphobic and it's just bigotry and it's just wrong. And there's gonna be issues that arise now because of this. People are gonna be unemployed. Are their health insurance benefits going to get revoked? Which health insurance shouldn't even be a thing. Healthcare should be a human right, like every other normal country. Shouldn't even have health insurance, should just be free. But there's so many things that are now going to happen as a result of this, and it just makes everybody feel less safe, because now all of those positions have to be refilled, and not everybody can be the exact same person that those individuals were in the roles of. It's not easy to replace a highly specialized individual. If you're just looking at it from a technical standpoint, yes, this doesn't support our troops. It actually makes the country look weaker. And when people say that, oh, well, we shouldn't be doing any sort of social experiments with the military, trans people have always existed. There has never been a time in human history where trans people did not exist. There is no social experiment. There's just people that don't like trans people, and they try to justify it however they can. So people need to move past this, and we need to understand that trans people are always going to exist no matter what. And you can't erase us from existence because it's just part of the human race. And as somebody that's running for office now, I want to see a day where trans rights are literally enshrined into the Constitution of the United States so that we can move past all of this and actually focus on things that actually really matter and we need to be paying attention to. Not trans people. Trans people don't cause any issue for anyone. It gets so challenging sometimes for me to have to repeat myself over and over because I feel like I'm almost saying the same things. But when I'm talking about certain issues, the same things come up over and over, and it's like if people could just move past the transphobia, the bigotry, like we've done with other groups of people, it's no different. Then we move into a society that values compassion and understanding for everybody in all walks of life, and we can actually move towards making the world a better place by focusing on the things that actually improved people's lives. So, if this Supreme Court ruling upsets you, and you want to know how to do something to help, I would suggest calling your representative, whether it be your state representative or your U.S. Congress representative, whatever you can do to kind of make a little bit of noise. If enough people do that, then the Congress of the United States can actually enshrine into the Constitution trans rights, which would cause its own issue legally, because then you'd have Supreme Court versus, but it would be a step in the right direction compared to what this is. And it would actually be doing something instead of feeling hopeless and feeling like there's nothing that we can do, because we all can do stuff. We all have a part to play in a representative democracy. Democracy is not a spectator sport. It requires participation from everybody involved. I understand that not everybody can do everything, but everybody can do a little bit of something. And as long as we're united and in solidarity on certain issues, it doesn't matter what they try to do, because the power of the people the majority of the people in a representative democracy will always win. And bigotry and hatred are not the majority. It might feel like that right now, but the majority of people value compassion. The majority of people value inclusion and equality. Those are values that we have as a society. And those will always overtake the discrimination and the exclusion and the just all of the negative aspects of the human impulse to separate the other, because this person this person looks different than me, or this person acts different than me. So I'm afraid of that, and that's just basic human instinct, and that's just a leftover from our own human evolution. But we live in a civilized society where we don't need to see everything as a perceived threat, and trans people existing is just a part of life. It's just normal and natural, and people just need to grow up and move on. And the way that we do that is through education. By informing people and educating people about trans people and trans topics, we can help people who are misinformed realize that they've been lied to over decades about trans people and LGBT people in general. And we've seen the progress over the years at the movement towards equality. But sometimes there's going to be setbacks, because the harder you push in the right direction, the more pushback you get from the wrong direction. And that's just a normal part of the pendulum swinging. But it doesn't mean that we're going in the wrong direction overall. The world is moving towards a better place. And that's something that should give people hope, because there are people every single day, working day in and day out, who are trying to make the world a better place for every single person. And that should give people hope. Never lose hope. No matter what the news says, no matter how bad it seems, never lose hope. Because hope is the only thing that keeps us around. All right. With that said, if you enjoy my content, please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing videos. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.